All right, episode 28. Do you want to get more clients from YouTube? Stay with us as we talk with Javier Vidana, in which 80% of his business comes from YouTube. And we're going to go ahead and get started right now.
Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
What's up, everyone?
What up?
Yeah.
It feels good to be back in my chair.
It does. You look
Trying
good
to
in
take
it.
it from him
Yeah,
last week.
yeah. How did that feel, Matt? I know I'm not supposed to talk with you right now because you're sharing out.
It was
our
freaking
posts.
awesome. I want to be sit back there again.
Yeah, we can fight over it.
The room looks great from Nick's seat.
It does. It does. Now, we have an awesome show, and it's good to be back. I was on vacation last week, so I had to request that time off. So I had to take it.
This is usually the part of most podcasts where people are like, how was vacation? Tell us about it. But we don't really care. I'm sure it was good.
That was awful.
good? Okay.
I mean, that
It
was
looked
great.
amazing.
Florida's hot.
Yeah.
Nice. Sand.
Muggy.
I hate the sand, by the way. Sand is my enemy.
I feel like I could tell that about you even without really knowing it. You just strike me as someone who would hate the sand.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is super overrated.
It is. Because here's the thing. You go down to the beach, you got to lug all that shit down there.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
And then sand gets everywhere. Then you lug it back up into the house you're renting or wherever you're staying. Sand then gets in the house. Then it gets in your bed. And you never can get rid of it. It's there forever. It's awful. So we've got an awesome guest today. We have Javier Vidana, and I'm screwing that up, but we'll have him pronounce it. And I originally saw him through YouTube. So and I reached out to him through, I think, Instagram.
Yeah.
And just started messaging with him back and forth. And I was really intrigued to see his growth and where his business is growing because of his YouTube channel. So when we started talking, he was telling me in 2017 he did about 3.8 million in closed production, and so far in 2019 year to date, so through August 14th, 2019, he's done roughly about 6.5 million, and 80% of that business is coming from YouTube. So I mean, to me, that's freaking amazing.
That's awesome. That's like as we try to build what we're doing here on YouTube. Like I respect that so much more than I probably would have 6 months ago. I'm like,
Absolutely.
So true.
So Javier, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What did you do before getting in real estate, and why did you get into real estate?
Well, I'm 26 years old, so I've never done anything prior. I mean, I had part-time jobs and whatnot, but I've been in real estate basically my whole life. I'm originally was born in Mexico, but I'm now here. I've been happy and living in Litchfield Park, Arizona, with my beautiful family. Other than that, I mean, I like to say for my real estate career, the first 5 years were my building years. Like 2 of those years, I was in college, or in other words, I was a big part of a big team. The other years, I was just figuring it out, doing what I call the basic agent things, open houses and all that. I mean, it's not boring stuff, but ultimately I wasn't happy, and eventually I'm happy to have found a different path in this real estate career, and I love it.
And so in 2017, you're that 3.5 million or 3.8 million in closings. Walk us through that. Was that all traditional style business? Did any of that come from online social media stuff?
Yeah, so year one for me was just, I don't even want to think about what the heck I was doing. Year 2 and 3, I was with the big giant team with Keller Williams. And then year 4 was where I was kind of figuring it out. And year 5, which would be 2017, that's where I was able to do, I don't remember the exact production. I think I gave you that information, but I know gross income I made about 100 to 110,000. And it was great. This is the first time I made 6 figures. It's been a lifelong goal of mine, but I was all open houses. Every Saturday and Friday, I was doing an open house.
Wow.
I was begging for business. I was door knocking. I was reaching out to people. Hey, do you know anyone looking to buy? So it was a straight hustle. Well, nothing wrong with that. But one of the good and bad things about me is if there's an easier way to do something, I'll always figure it out. So my daughter was born. My second kid was born that year. And I took 2 months off. I would be a traditional millennial dad.
Yeah.
Sorry. And do that, and I did that, and then when I came back, I had no business because it needed me to actually be working, and I was miserable. So I was made the most money I've ever made in my life, but wasn't happy. And that's when I started doing YouTube. Right after that bitter end of 2017, where I was like, there has to be a better way.
So what was the genesis of YouTube itself, right? So you said that's when you started doing YouTube. What was it that made you go, this is the avenue that I want to pursue? What was the appeal there?
Well, to answer your question about the genesis, I had created and probably 3 YouTube channels before that point and failed miserably. I made a comedy channel with my friends years before that. I had tried making the real estate show podcast where I would sit down in front of a mic and talk about real estate. I had tried the Gary Vee approach of vlogging what I was doing and vlogging showings. So I had done those and I had failed miserably. So that was the genesis of it. But what led up to this point was I was actually on Facebook, and I noticed that at that time Facebook marketing was really hot. People were putting houses that were available. Hey, buy this house for X amount of dollars. People would, respond at that point.
Right.
I had saw somebody, they posted that this house is clearly really expensive. Said, hey, buy this house today, $1,000 payment, down payment assistance. I don't remember the exact term. And that really upset me. At that point, my daughter was born. I had I had gone down because I wasn't working so hard, and I had no desire to go do open houses again. So it upset me, and I was like, this is dumb. I looked at the comments, 40 comments of people saying, I'm interested, please message me, hey, how know what's the price? And so this was clearly working. And I looked inward and I said, whose fault is this really? Is this the shady realtor who's clearly in violation of RESPA and other many things? Or was it the client's fault, the people that are falling for this? And I looked and I was like, you know what? It's not their fault. They don't know any better. And I realized that people that want real estate advice, they either call a realtor they know and they try to sold an appointment, pre-qual, do this, do that, come to the office, and they get into that spiel. Or they call somebody who doesn't want to give them any information until they come and give them a pre-qual or something. Nothing wrong against those agents. It's just that's when you're in that model, that's what you feel. So I said, let me make this video as a big FU to this agent and to just help people explain the cost of buying a house. What does it cost to buy a house? Or I think the first video was why to buy a house in your 20s or something. And I'm just going to talk to the camera as if it was my client, as if it was a buyer consultation. Because I think as realtors, you guys can agree with me, the most valuable conversation we have with people is when they're face-to-face and doing a buyer consult. So I said, okay, I'm going to have this conversation to this camera as if it was my client. I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm not going to say, hey, here's some info. Give me a call for everything else. I'm just going to lay it on the table. And made 2 or 3 videos of that. And next thing you know, it started getting more views. And I just started working. People started liking it. They really resonated with the videos. And now here I am.
So I like the fact that it was just genuine content. For you, what was your experience with the growth aspect of it? When you put out those first couple of videos, was it people engaging immediately? Were you obsessing over the tags and the keywords and the back end? Like, what were you doing with the content initially? Because I think that's where a lot of agents, when they shoot video, they love the idea of it, and then they have no idea what the hell to do with it.
So I come from the YouTube world as in, so once again, I'm 26.
Right.
Growing up, I didn't really watch a lot of TV. It was a lot of YouTube. And I think anybody who has a teenager or kid can they think that's crazy, but the reality of the fact is YouTube is the future. People watch more YouTube now than TV, at least my generation and the prior one. So I already knew what a good thumbnail looks like. I already knew what a good title is. I already understood the culture, but I didn't obsess over it because I already had that foundation, which for a lot of people, they don't know that. They have to learn that, great. But it was a very slow growth at first. Steadily, it took about 2-3 months to get my first 100 subscribers. What really happened is I made a video October, September, November, made 2 or 3 videos. I got discouraged again, saying this isn't working. I left at Christmas time. I didn't really work. I came back January, and the video had I had 100 subscribers almost, and I had 500 views in this video I did. And I was like, oh crap, it's working. Let me just keep making videos. And I always tell people that start YouTube, you want to start it for the right reasons. And a lot of realtors fail because they're doing it to get leads, and it's very obvious. And the way you talk to the camera is it's clear that you don't care. You're just there to get leads. But I found that it's that initial, well, I'm going to call it that hustle is going to take you a while. So for me, that initial hustle was the first getting to 500 subscribers. In my case, it took me till about, I want to say March or February, so it took about 2 to 3 months, and that was making a video every week. Just making a video every week. I already kind of understood the culture. I already understood what kind of thumbnails and titles to make, and that initially led me to the 500 subscribers. So that was an initial chore. Not a lot of views, not a lot of subscribers. Let's just churn out content, quality content, and eventually it just ends up being something great, and then it ends up growing, and now it's growing by itself. I took 2 weeks off the other month ago, and I had like 6 buyer consultations lined up to me when I got back. And it's like literally, it's like working for me. I don't have to be out there begging for business anymore.
So the first 500, is that all organic growth, or is there any help along the way? Is that email marketing? Is that getting it out there on Facebook? What is that? Because that's been my one thing of really growing my YouTube channel. And I'll say the struggle has been, even with consistent content. Now, a lot of our stuff, you're right, it is more about getting leads, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of, I do the intro, then I have a little intro graphic that goes in, and then it's the straight talking points, and then, reach out to me at the end, right? And so, I'm sticking around that 135 to 145 subscriber mark, and haven't really been able to break from there. So is that 500 growth that you got, subscriber growth, was that all organic, or was there any juice behind it?
I'd like to, if we can, I want to touch base on what's going on with your channel. If you don't mind, we can talk about that later, because I really think there's something there to talk about. Yeah. But it was all organic. No email marketing. I would put it on Facebook and nobody would pay attention. It was purely organic, and that's what one of the biggest accomplishments, honestly, in my life, other than my kids and other things, is that it's just pure. YouTube is the thing about YouTube. It's an algorithm. Mm-hmm. If you're doing the things that YouTube likes, it'll push you. It'll advertise for you. Now, there's certain tricks you need to do to get YouTube to do that, but if they click your video, if the right people click your video and they watch it long enough, YouTube notices. And if there's enough people doing that, YouTube will start promoting your content out there, and that's what's going to produce organic growth. People who try to force it, there's nothing wrong with forcing it. Like, I have a great lender partner of mine who I helped her coach her with the YouTube channel. She's actually over 500 subscribers now as of a few days ago. She has a huge database, and she would email her videos out to past clients. And that not only has helped her videos slightly, but it's helped her with her referral business tremendously. So she did that, but it really wasn't helping her subscriber growth, because true subscribers on YouTube are people that are going to find you either organically, or they happen to stumble upon your video through an email or through whatever, and they happen to like YouTube and they're going to subscribe to you. So to answer your question, it was all organic, no email marketing, but there's nothing wrong if you want to at least get an initial boost with your database, or if you want to push your Facebook or your Instagram there, but you shouldn't rely on that. You should rely on the YouTube algorithm primarily. And
how soon did you start to realize that this is a true lead generation machine for you? Like, it took you X amount of time to get to the 500. When did you start seeing clients roll in because of it?
So I was thinking in my head, like, well, once I'm at 5,000 subscribers, that's when I'm going to start getting some business. I'll never forget, I don't remember the exact month, January to March. I would forget. My first clients were Anai and Kane. They bought a house in Buckeye for about $200,000 to $230,000. I got a call, and they're like, "Hey, Javier, we've been watching your videos. Like, you're awesome." And they happened to know me from school, but that was relevant because they found me on YouTube. And they said, "Can you help us buy a house?" And I said, "Great." And at the time I had 3 in escrow, and I said, "Well, that's one. That'll never happen again. All right, let's take this gimme and let's move on." Well, 1 or 2 months, and it ends up being one person a month. Hey, I found you on YouTube. Great. And so I'm thinking I'm riding this wave like, okay, this will go away. Eventually, those one every 2 months ended up being 1 a month. And eventually that became 2 a month. And now it's to the point where last month I closed 7 transactions, and 6 of them from YouTube and 1 of them from Sphere. So now it's grown to this thing where honestly, a few months ago I couldn't control it anymore, and I kind of had to I got really strict at who I was meeting because there was just too many people. So it just kind of grown. Like, even if I want to stop now, I had to hire people to help me with the systems and develop that, because there's just so many people coming in now that I want to make sure that they're getting the time and attention they need.
That's really badass. I just think it's cool. Do you have I'm always curious about the type of stuff that's really working for you. What are you finding what messages are you finding people are connecting with the best that you're putting out there? I mean, you're a really genuine guy, but just has there been anything that's really been more productive than other stuff for you?
When I take myself out of the equation and I think about what a home buyer would look for, like I remember 8 years ago, or not 8 years ago, I remember 4 years ago when I was a deadbeat realtor and I wasn't really doing much, and I would be looking up like how to succeed or how to this, and it would be like late at night and I'd be stressing out and how the heck am I going to pay for this month's bills? I put myself in the situation of a home buyer. They're stressed out. Man, they're tired of paying rent. Their lease is up in 4 months. Their wife's been bugging him about, I want to buy they need to buy a house. How am I going to get started? Are they going to call a realtor? Probably not, because let's face it, most realtors are going to try to sell them and get them in the office and right? If they go on Google, they go on Zillow, they're going to find outdated articles and it's not going to find info. So what do? A lot of my generation will go on YouTube. They'll look up questions that we maybe think are simple, but how do first-time homebuyer programs work? How much does it cost to buy a house? Simple stuff like that is what works amazing for me. Now it's getting oversaturated because people are starting to notice that it's working, and now there's a ton of realtors doing it.
Yep.
But honestly, that's the thing is, like, realtors think that you just have to make real estate content because they worked for me. Now that they're going to do the same, but there's so much more potential in this because you can make real estate a side topic, but if you're obsessed about, I don't know, handcrafting, cutting boards, or you have a side business where you're a nonprofit of some sorts.
Tacos.
You can document
Kelly,
anything
drop
on
the
YouTube,
link.
and it'll be awesome.
Exactly.
It'll just start growing.
Brian and I are currently attempting to do that. We're doing taco reviews. So we went on Google here locally and we put best, and the thing that came up was tacos in Dallas. So we're like, we're just going to go places and eat tacos and talk about them and see if anybody gives a shit or not.
Start talking about tacos, start making really good videos about it. People will find you, because when I'm looking for tacos, I look up reviews, right? People will find your reviews and they go, hey, this guy happens to be a realtor.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, people that watch my videos don't know I'm a realtor till the very end.
Yep.
And then once they realize I'm a realtor, like, oh, and then if I'm in Phoenix and they're in Phoenix, they go, oh, perfect. Yeah. I don't have to be generating, or I remember back in my team days, there would be a lead and there'd be a work, and then there'd be a client.
Right.
For me, people are just clients.
Mm-hmm.
They're skipping all that because I already built the trust with them. And I think, in my opinion, I earned their trust because I'm like I am now. I'm being genuine even in my videos. I'm one person all the time. Maybe my wife will disagree when I'm home, but when I'm in video real estate mode, I'm one person.
Yep.
How is it that you feel like for people just starting in YouTube now and trying to grow their audience and grow their subscribers, how do you know when you're on the right track? Because it can be so difficult to build momentum. It can be so easy to talk yourself out of continuing to be consistent and doing the things that you need to do to grow your audience. But there's also there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's there's a science to it, right? So how is it that you know that you're on the right track and building momentum, and you don't know, or you don't know that you're not just doing things completely wrong?
People aren't going to like this answer, because I think realtors always want lead generation. They want to find a way to generate more leads. Yeah. But I will say that I love the video making process. I like creating the video. I like shooting it. I love editing it. I love it. That's just like, it's therapy for me, honestly. Yeah. It never felt like work for me. If after a few months I hate making a video, but I want to be successful on YouTube, then I would say then the intention is wrong.
Right.
What's the intention of doing this? If you're only doing this because you want to get lead generation, because you heard this guy on this Facebook group talk about it, now you want to do it, well, you're going to fail, because you're going to make a few videos and you're going to quit, which a lot of realtors do.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to tell you love making videos like myself. If you don't love making videos about a certain topic, then make it about a topic that you love talking about. Mm-hmm. And if even still you don't want to make videos about that, then maybe make videos towards your past clients. And if you just don't like making videos, then don't make videos. Like, do what you're good at. I found something I'm good at. I do it well, and I love doing it. I'll never, I think Nick asked me the question the other day, I'll never hire an editor. I'll never hire someone to manage my videos. That's my thing. I'd rather hire people to do other things, like coordinate my transactions, client experience. But this is what I love. And So to answer your question, if you love what you're doing and you love the videos you're making, and you keep doing them consistently, it's gonna be a slow grind. But I would say if you're getting people that engage and they say, Nick, I love your videos, and you only have like 100 subscribers, then that one person, you really change their life. Keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna grow, and eventually it's gonna be bigger than you ever thought it was possible.
I love that answer, and that's so true. I would also add, obviously, we're not the foremost experts on growing YouTube channels yet, but I would add that you just can't judge yourself either. Like, what we are the foremost experts on is implementing stuff that we don't know how to do and just figuring it out along the way. And we've had to do that with a lot of things in our businesses, and YouTube has been one of them. Like, one of the things that I think that we were able to push through, and we've done that with the podcast here, and that's why I've been pretty successful with this, is that we just accept that we have no idea what we're doing up front, and it's probably going to be pretty bad. And when it doesn't take off right away, we've already built that sort of into our mentality and been like, dude, we're probably not going to get 1 million subscribers right away. We're probably going to get our first video got like 3 views. And you know what we did? We made fun of it on the next video for how little views it got, It was shot on a cell phone with no lighting or mics or anything. There's a window open in the background that's just totally just blasting Matt's face out of the frame the entire time. Well, but we had fun doing it.
And YouTube it's a love-hate relationship. At least I have that, where I'm an impatient person. Right, when I make cold calls and I'm calling expireds or whatever, I know that there's results that are immediately going to happen.
Right.
And with YouTube, it hasn't been. Now I will say, and this is my fault, right? I am that typical real estate agent where I was doing videos back before anybody was doing it, but I would not be in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. I would do just sold videos. And how we sold this home when other agents couldn't.
Right.
I was getting consistently 3 to 5 listings, people reaching out to me from YouTube for about 2 years straight. And then guess what? I got busy and I stopped making those videos. And then it just dipped. And then by the time I jumped back into that pool, it had completely changed. I'd fallen behind on it. And now I'm playing catch up.
Yeah.
So in that case, who do you think were watching those videos? Do you think it was just random people, or I mean, who do you think were watching those when they would call you, or they'd turn into actual leads?
I don't have an answer. I'm going to say random people because I didn't know them. They weren't in my database.
I know for a fact is people who are stressing out, who has an agent that aren't getting the job done. So they're on YouTube saying, well, how the hell are people selling houses? Why isn't mine selling? They're stressed out of their mind. They look you up and boom, there you are. So the number one thing for any realtor out there, or any small business, I'm trying to look past realtors because I think YouTube will help any small business.
Yep.
Is like, who are you trying? You need to envision exactly who your ideal person is watching. And every video I make, I envision the same exact scenario that I told you guys. Somebody who's stressed out of their mind. They are tired of renting. They've been renting for the last year or two. Maybe they've owned a home in the past. They're gonna be buying soon. They know it's coming up. They want to research how it freaking works to buy a house, but they know if they call a realtor, they're going to get sold. They just want, that's why these freaking Open Door and all these, I don't know if you guys are experiencing that, all these freaking brokerages are coming up because you don't have to talk to a realtor. You can just go look at a house, and people love that.
Yep.
Realtors either need to adjust, and I think, honestly, I personally think all these realtors that are salesy and they just don't get it are going to start getting, they're going to lose business soon because of all these big brokerages. The only ones that are going to survive are the people that get it.
Yep.
And so, I really do think that, I don't remember what my initial point is.
Just since we're off on that point, I mean, that's such a good point to make because, I mean, dude, get on any Facebook group that's real estate related. Our Facebook group right now, people talk about that stuff every day, right? What about Reology and Amazon and Open Door and this? Like, that's, if you ask me and Matt around our office, those people are my best friend. I hope everybody lists with Open Door so that when they expire, they'll come to us. And somebody like Matt, who's just an unbelievable relationship builder, will just smoke it, right? Like, that's just, the more companies like that pop up, the more shitty realtors will get out of the business. And that's, unfortunately, that's mean to say, and maybe there's people that will be out of the business that are listening to this right now. But the good ones, people that have built a business that really take care of their clients and know what the hell they're doing and are true, legitimate experts, dude, Open Door in those companies, so those are a godsend for them because it makes them look so much better.
Yeah, and then they're going to realize that they could have made more money, and even if they end up selling, they're like, man, what did they sell it for? I actually sold my house through Open Door because I was in a really tough bind, and I saw what they sold it at, and that hurts.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to use them next time for sure. So people are going to learn, and it might take 3 to 5 years, but eventually they're going to lose some business because people are like, no, I sold through them. They made 15 grand more from my house than I did. I'm not going to do that again. So, but I do think there's going to be an exodus of crappy realtors, like you said, because if they're just, constantly selling and not providing value, which goes back to YouTube. If you're just selling and not providing value, it's not going to work.
Yep, and it's running your business like a business, right? When agents don't run their business like a business, they've got to do things like defend to the death their 6% and things like that. If the entire industry goes to 1% tomorrow, those who have built it like a business, they'll go, okay, what do we need to do to triple our volume and put more deals on the conveyor belt? Because 2/3 of our competition just got out of the business. Yep. And there's a whole sea of people out there that are going to need a lot of help. Your transactions are going to triple if we go down to 1% commission, because most people can't live off that. I would welcome it. I don't really give a shit. We'll do 700 transactions next year because there's nobody else is going to be. There's certainly nobody's going to be getting their license, right? There's not going to be 500 people a day going to Champion School of Real Estate. Be like, man, I really want to work for 1%. Of course not, dude. It's going to be a totally barren marketplace. I'm totally up for it.
What I've noticed is Open Door starting to pay 2.5%. Have you guys noticed that? Or at least here they're doing that. Mm-hmm. So one thing I always said about Open Door and Zillow and all them is like, at least they pay 3%. Now it's not. What's stopping them from going down to 1 or 2?
Yep.
So one thing I've been thinking about is like, people are scared about that. I'm thinking about, what if I raise my listing rate? What if instead of 6, I'll do 6.5? Because something that's happening because of YouTube is if I'll meet somebody, I'm under no pressure. Like if you want to work with me, work with me.
Yeah, you're coming from authority.
If you're expecting, am I cutting off?
No, I said you're coming from authority. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to work with me, great. If you want me to be following up with you every day, every week to see if you're doing your credit things, then that's not my style. Like if you want to work with me, come and work with me. You have my phone number. You have my call. Message me. And that's just. Sure, I've lost business, sure, but the business that I've gotten, which once again, I'm not a part of a team. I'm not a part of a big brokerage, so I'm keeping most of it. I'm happy, and people that want to work with me want to work with me.
I think
regardless of what I charge.
I think one of the cool things you're doing, it's creating opportunity through an attraction-based marketing system. And I work with a lot of agent-to-agent referrals, and that's one of the greatest things about those is they come in red hot, honestly, and ready to work with you, ready to have a conversation that's pointed and ready to go. You're not having your YouTube work, your editing, the hours you put into the content, the thought process behind it, that is your work, right? That is the client building aspect of what you're trying to do. And then they come in and they're ready to go. And I think that's what's attractive about it for a lot of real estate agents. But again, then they treat it like everything else they do in their business. They don't put the level of attention on it that they should to put out the right product. And then they wonder why, like your comedy channel, it failed.
It's coming back.
Is it still up?
By the time we get out of here,
good luck finding it. It's gone.
So walk us through your typical day-to-day, right? Because that's going to be something that, look, if someone, and most people are going to be in the beginning scared to make those videos. So walk us through that day-to-day. What does it look like? How are you coming up with your content? And what do what's the equipment that you were using? You maybe have upgraded now, but what were you using then?
To answer your first question, so if I'm recording, so to come up with video ideas now, I'll just, like the other day I had somebody DM me on Instagram, which one thing I get now is I'm getting comments and questions and emails from everybody around the country, wanting help. He's like, hey, so this realtor told me that if I should be buying a house now because of the tax benefits. Can you explain what that means? So these people trust more this random guy on YouTube than they trust the realtor that's the lender that's helping him. So it kind of just shows you. Wow. And I just tell him like, hey, you know what? That's something realtor and lenders say just to tell you to hurry up. Don't let that be the only factor why you buy. Like if you want to buy, get ready to buy regardless of the benefits. Like if you think if that's something that you're considering and that's the only reason it's going to push you forward, then don't let him push you. Like you take it at your own pace. And that's what I said. And that just popped up idea like, oh, wait, I can make a video, which is coming up. 3 things that realtors and lenders tell you to push you to make a decision sooner. That's boom. That just came up with the idea. Or I'll be talking with people, working because you're an active agent. Someone will ask a question. You'd be like, okay, that's a good question. Boom. And then now it's that. I never, because realtors, like, we'll love to, like, call our title company and be like, hey, let's make a video about different ways to take title.
Yeah.
You guys are laughing because one of you guys have done that. A lot of realtors I know do
Yeah, I
that.
think it's happening.
Or they'll call their lender and be like, hey, let's make video about down payment assistance program. That's, just want to come from the perspective of them. So that's how I come with that. But my day-to-day on a video shooting day is, I'll wake up if it's 7, 8. I'll spend 2-3 hours with my kid. I'll come to the office around 10, do what I need to do, email. I'll maybe 12 or 1, I'll start shooting. I'm done. I like to edit that same day. Back in the day, I used to edit the next day because I've got shooting down now where I know how to shoot well and not have to reshoot.
Right.
So I can just edit that same day. And once again, it's my therapy day, so I really enjoy it. I'll be done within an hour or 2. Granted, when I first started, it would take me a few hours. And then upload it that same day. I'm not... my actual hours that I work, it's not like this crazy thing. I'm not like that. If anything, I'm disappointed with myself that the 39.42 I've done the last 12 months, that could have been another 10 or 20 if I had been more productive. I'm not happy about the fact that 80% of business comes from YouTube. I would like it to be 50, and I like the other 50 to be from referrals. So I know I'm doing well, but I'm not as nearly where I need to be. So that part of the business, I'm doing work as much as I need to or I want to. My big thing too is I want to be home for my kids. I want to be home as much as possible. I want to spend a lot of weekends unless I'm showing houses. So I don't have this crazy work schedule, work hours. And I don't recall, what was your last question?
What equipment were you using, and did you upgrade?
So I tell people and that ask me questions all the time. I was like, you don't need equipment. Just start with your phone. Get a decent mic for like $50-$80 and get yourself a stand and then get started. But if you're like me and you're like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it okay. I started off with this camera. This is a Canon G7X Mark II. Costs about $600. Wow. Because that's where I started. But what appears that people don't understand about me. When I started, I said I'm gonna make this. So I invested. My wife didn't know about this purchase, which is my camera purchases. So that's where I started it. But if people could start off with a $300 or $400 point and shoot. A point and shoot is just a camera you buy where you don't have to update the lens or anything. You just point and shoot.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get started though, I would recommend definitely a Canon T6i or a SL2 or SL3. It's a very standard crop sensor lens. Get started that way, and you get a decent mic for sure. Because if you get a USB mic for $50, that's going to improve your audio so much.
Yeah, the audio too, I think, is a big thing, and I think people be surprised. And again, you're doing a much higher level than we are. It's not hours and days of your life to record this content, right? Like you can literally sit down. Like an hour worth of you on camera is way more shit than most people want to watch, anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So like you're going to edit it down to the 5 or 10 minute clips. I think some people think it's just very time consuming, and maybe the editing side is, but the actual content shoot part shouldn't take up your whole life, right? It's relatively quick.
People are afraid to fail, though. People are afraid they're going to make a bad video, and I tell people to embrace that. Every video you've seen, I've scrapped 10 of them. I've made videos from start to finish, and I'll scrap it because I don't like it.
It's the same.
And I don't consider that a loss or waste of time. That's just part of improving.
It's the same.
So you should just start making videos. Just start. Don't be afraid of it because you're going to make a bad video. Make 10 bad videos. Post them if you have balls, and then they're going to get better. You're going to find your style. You're going to find out what works for you, and next thing you know, your videos don't suck because you've done it.
That's what it is.
1,000-hour rule, Malcolm Gladwell, if you haven't read it.
10,000-hour rule. Outliers.
10,000,
Malcolm Gladwell.
Anyway, haven't read it.
No,
Gladwell made a book about it, though, didn't he?
What's that? Yeah, that's from Outliers, yeah. That's from Gladwell.
It's not his concept, though?
No, it is. Yeah, that's the book that it's in.
Okay.
Yeah, 10,000 hours. No, it's the same thing that I tell our team all the time. This is I'm super bleak if you get to know me in all of my motivational stuff. It's all about failure and getting over it and like just not being a baby about things. I tell our team all the time, like, look, and it's the same with YouTube. Like, if people don't like your videos and if people are mean to you on the phone when you're calling expireds, and if you have like really bad appointments and people don't want to sign paperwork with you, like, you're not important enough to get down about that. Like, stop being so self-righteous. If you make a stupid YouTube video that everyone gives a thumbs down to, like, the world doesn't revolve around you. Okay? Like, yeah, it's gonna hurt a little bit, but get over it. Like, the good thing is that nobody's gonna watch your next one. So you don't
have to worry about it.
Like, yeah, like it's just stop being so self-important that you can't fail. Like, embrace the failure. Embrace the fact that if you start from the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, and that every bad video you make or every bad phone call you have or lead gen session or whatever, it's only getting you closer to the next good one. But it would be a really stupid book if somebody wrote your autobiography and you just woke up one day and were successful. Like, no one would ever read that. So you got to go through that stuff. And if you're not willing to do that in anything, it's going to be really hard to become successful in whatever you do.
Yep, well said.
What is? I mean, we're winding down here. We got about 5 minutes left. I mean, I think you've given out some great nuggets. What is one thing that you said for our channel, for instance, right? Like, what is there just one mistake you see people making that seems insanely obvious to you, or one thing that you feel like I'm always telling people this, and I feel like I shouldn't have to tell them, but I do. You know,
I thought you guys weren't with Keller Williams anymore. Why are you asking me about one thing?
Right? Nick isn't. Brian and I still are.
Yeah, there's one non-KW guy.
We're divided down broker
It's a good
lines.
point, though.
Man.
As many things as you think are important.
Yeah. I was trying to dumb it
All
down.
right, I'm looking at your channel now.
Look at Nick's channel.
Yeah, don't look at ours.
What's your channel name?
It's Nick Good. I think it's just Nick Good.
I think it's just Nick Good.
Wow. So self-important.
And,
Revolves
All
around.
right, I see it. 304 videos. Wow.
You have more videos than subscribers?
Yes.
he's doubled up.
I don't know what that says.
So-
All right. I think it's clear as day you're a realtor. Like, that's the first thing I noticed. You have your phone number, your email, your logo, the Good Home Team. Let me see your last videos.
This is the hot seat.
I know.
Are you saying take that stuff down? Don't make it so obvious he's a realtor, but more just like an authority on the subject?
I get it. There's rules. There's rules about it. I know you have to show your brokerage somewhere and everything, but I mean, yeah.
If you're doing real estate
people are gonna
stuff,
find
Yeah,
you there.
if you're not promoting real estate stuff,
It's
but
all my stuff's real estate.
Yeah.
stop being so
No,
corporate, bro.
that's fine. But if you look at my channel, you're not going to see like I'm a realtor. I
Yeah.
can tell right away. You're a realtor.
Yeah.
Which you own it. You run a team, so I get it. That thing. I think your thumbnails. So YouTube will promote consistent content. Content that. Let me see. Let's just check out your last video real quick.
I like the thumbnail
So
thing because I do think
you're-
that's not something we spend enough time on.
No.
It's really tricked out thumbnails because those are always the ones that get on me, right? Like,
Oh,
I
100%.
see a really cool thumbnail and I'm like, yeah,
What
I'm
are these
watching that.
videos for, Nick?
For people that watch them, there's not.
That might be your first problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why I left Keller Williams and joined eXp Realty, Dallas real estate update. How does the Fed rate affect you as a home buyer? Who are they? And then you also interview people. Is that it?
Yeah.
Does your real estate agent sales numbers matter? So you have 3 different audiences you're focusing towards. You're focusing Dallas real estate. You're focusing on. I think no consumer would watch why Nick Good left KW joining EXP. I think that's more focused towards realtors. Because who's going to look for that video? I think a realtor that wants to leave KW would look up that video. And then you make those real estate agent sales matter. So I think you're kind of not very clear with who your target audience. So you need to have a come to Jesus moment with yourself and figure out who's your main demographic. I think honestly, you probably have enough business with your team and leads and whatnot. So I can see you definitely transitioning to being more making videos for. And here's the thing. I mean, you can make videos towards realtors that maybe don't know how. Why did you leave KW? One of the most really popular videos I've left is like if you guys look up why I left KW, there's people with like hundreds and thousands of views. Have you guys looked it up?
Oh yeah. We had a guy on the show earlier this year who has a pretty decent YouTube following. Who that's one of his highest watched
Chaston?
videos. Yep. Chaston Miles.
Chaston
Yeah.
Miles, which is I think he's watching right now.
Yeah.
26. Yeah, I mean, but if you look at that video, his thumbnail. I mean, you can tell clear as day. That's for somebody who's a realtor and they think about leaving, Keller Williams.
Yep.
So you need to really figure out who's your target audience here. If you're trying to get leads, then go all in into leads and start doing that. Update your camera. You're clearly recording out of a webcam. Your thumbnails are just the red letters over your picture. That's fine, but start watching more YouTube videos and see what works. like you kind of got it right with a few of them. Like you would put a picture of you and say how to hire a realtor, but you're using the same picture over and over again, right? Yeah, you are.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like start watching more YouTube and seeing what thumbnails work and what makes you click on them, and start kind of you making your thumbnails that way. Figure out who your target audience and focus on that and go all in on that. And I think for sure, if you're not going to update your camera, update your audio. Because if people aren't, I would rather have you good quality audio than good quality camera.
Yeah.
You can have a horrible camera and have great audio, and people can listen to you while they're driving home or something.
And I use the Blue Yeti mic for that
Oh,
one.
you do?
Yep.
He just
I think
doesn't
you're too far
know. He
away from
doesn't
it
know
now.
how to work it.
Depends on which one. Depends on which one we're shooting off of. So if it looks like it's from a webcam, I do two different styles. One at my computer, which is off the webcam, and then I do one with my iPhone, and my lapel mic was screwing up. So I said screw it. It was more about just making videos and staying consistent to that. So while I'm sweating here and we're running out of time, let's go ahead and, this is great information, and I'm going to go back and replay and watch this, Javier. But the good thing is that you have a Facebook group where people can go and join and get some tips from you. What is your Facebook group?
Well, for sure. So my thing is, as I start getting more successful, and there are people with more subscribers than me that are doing real estate things, but I feel like in the last year I've grown a lot more rapidly, and I think I can now help people at least not necessarily become real estate YouTubers, but start using YouTube to kind of strengthen their business, right? So one of the things I did is, instead of thinking about scarcity or a scarcity mindset, I was abundant. So that's like, okay, how can I do to help people? Let's start talking to people. We did a class in the Phoenix area. About 100, 150 people showed up, and we called it Social Strategies. And now with me and two partners, one who's an Instagram expert and the other is a Facebook expert, we do a post once a time every week. I do one on YouTube, the other person does one on Instagram, the other person does on Facebook, and we just post great little nuggets like you heard today. It's called Social Strategies. If you go to Facebook and look up Social Strategies, it should be one of the first ones that come up. And it's just a bunch of small business owners, including realtors and all kinds of people who want to learn from us. But if you ever have any questions about, hey, Javier, what can I do to get this YouTube? Why this video doesn't work? Or, what software to use for whatever? You can always ask it there and ask questions. Now, I will say, eventually, we're going to, kind of like you guys have done with Toro Academy, we're going to make it more a subscription-based thing where you can pay a certain monthly fee to watch educational videos of how to grow your channel, and eventually it will be paid to get into this group. But for now, while we're growing, it's completely free to join. So I would say join while you can, and then down the road when it's paid, then you're going to regret if you didn't. So join now, it's free, get some free nuggets. You already have like 100 group you follow anyways, make it one more.
So go to Social Strategies.
I just joined.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. So as we're ending here, go join Social Strategies. One thing I did forget to promote is go to the only real estate Facebook group worth being a part of.
He was on vacation for a week.
Yeah. The only real estate group worth being a part of.
Ba-ba.
Only real estate group worth being a part of.
Yes, sir.
And before we finish, Billionaire Idea.
Derek, I'm going to need your help with this one.
I'm here. Let's do it.
Hang on, Javier.
I'm going to need a production manager for sure, I think. So I'm going to buy all the major news corporations. I think like a Ted Turner type, except I'm going to own everything. And you might think, wow, Brian's going to buy all of these major TV networks because he's going to reform, cable TV and fight the titans that are Netflix and Hulu and just streaming services in the way that it's all changing and becoming commoditized like that. You're dead wrong, Derek. I'm not doing that at all. I'm 100% only buying all of the major TV networks so that during live sporting events, I can start dropping in breaking news alerts that interrupt things at very important moments that are all highly produced, highly choreographed, highly staged reenactments of famous action sequences from movies. And I'm going to be dead serious about it. And even when it's not going to be satirical, I'm not going to act like it's a joke. And people are going to be like, Brian, this is clearly a movie plot. I'm going to be like, no, it's not. That happened yesterday. So you're going to be like watching like third quarter of NFL Sunday that happens to fall on Christmas Eve. And it's going to be like, breaking alert. And it's going to interrupt the game. And it's going to be like several terrorists have seized a high-rise office building at Yakatomi Plaza.
I feel like you're going down the line here.
We're going to go live to the scene. There's going to be a reporter. I'm going to get real Bruce Willis to run by in the background. He's going into the building.
This is the new
Shit's
age
exploding.
New age war of the world.
We're
It's like in the
report
40s.
on the whole thing for hours, Derek. This is going to go on for hours. I'm going to hire everybody. It's going to go on for 7 hours. The game's going to be well over by the time we wrap this up. And you'd be like, Redskins won 16-14.
I'm only tuning
Sorry
in if
you
Carl
missed it.
Winslow is in the part of this. Pod
We're going to do all of them, Derek. We're going to do all of them.
You are you're tearing up over here.
Ninth inning of the World Series. It's going to be a breaking alert. Scientists off the coast of the Pacific discovered a Meg.
I'm going to tell you, this is my favorite billionaire idea.
And there's going to be some laziness to it that is just sort of a nod to the fact that I know it's not real, but I'll never admit it. We'll be like, we're going to go live to the scene where a group of marine biologists / freedom fighters has been assembled. I'm just going to show clips of Jason Statham from the movie fighting the Meg. As if it's dead seriously happening right now. And I'm just going to continue. And then it's going to become such a well-known bit that you just know people are going to stop watching sports on TV because they're just going to know, like, every fucking time 18th hole at the Masters, he strikes the putt and halfway through it he cuts to some dumbass breaking news alert. And something with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson happens. How is that guy so heavily involved in all this shit? And that's going to be my whole life.
I love it.
That's going to be my retirement bit, Derek, and I'm going to need your help.
Javier, where can we find you on YouTube before Brian takes over all media?
I was going to say his idea would be good for the first 30 years, but TV's going to get transitioned out eventually.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to adapt.
It won't do you any good to have all his networks.
That's true.
So almost Billionaire Idea.
Exactly.
Just look up my name, just like I tell clients. Just look up Javier Vidana. If you can spell it, try to spell it. YouTube will fix it for you. Google me, YouTube me, do what you got to do. Instagram is the Javier Vidana. Just whatever you want to do. If you have any questions, I would suggest you follow me on Instagram and direct message me.
Sweet.
Because if you go leave a comment on YouTube, then probably it's a little harder to get to you. So.
Awesome, man.
And join us next week as Brian's going to break down Jeffrey Epstein. Was that a real suicide or was it a conspiracy?
Oh, we're going to go deep on that one.
Jesus.
We might need 2 hours.
I might be
worth.
absent next week.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
Thank you so much,
man.
Javier.
Thanks, man. Social Strategies, make sure to check it out. D, take us out.